When learning a new technique that is beyond the range of intuitive control of the practitioner, having to focus on more than one thing is too much for the practitioner. This is a KarateZad video. If you find this video useful or interesting in any way, please like, share, and subscribe or follow. In the previous video, I introduced two concepts relating to physical disciplines, the two understandings and range of intuitive control. Then I summarize, in general, how I utilize these concepts into teaching or training new techniques that is initially unintuitive to the practitioner. In this video, I will be going into details on using these two concepts in training or teaching a specific basic but crucial and foundational technique in karate. That is the Koshi-waza, or hip technique, or simply Koshi. All martial arts use the hips to a degree. And from my observation, karate and most Chinese martial arts, in one way, have the highest degree of emphasis on the hips among striking arts. Most Chinese martial arts, however, aren't combat sports. Among striking combat sports in particular, karate may be one with the highest degree of emphasis on the hips. Highest degree such that the generation of power through the pendulum motion or swinging motion of the arm, shoulder, or upper body for punches, or of the entire leg for kicks like you would see in boxing, Muay Thai or Taekwondo, is completely avoided. Instead, power is driven through a short burst of quick rotation of the hips, which is followed through to the limb that moves linearly into the target. There are four main reasons for using the hips: mass, retaining speed, reduced telegraphy, and reach. The center of gravity is located just below the navel, so moving the hips moves also almost the entire mass of the body. This is the hip or mass momentum. By relying the delivery of mass on hips alone, the arms are free to neglect mass to fully focus on speed, hence the limb or speed momentum. To maximize speed, the arms are kept loose throughout the extension of the arm. The arm is only made rigid upon the point of impact. With that rigid structure from knuckles to arm and to hips, along with correct synchrony, the momentum from the hips will flow through to the end of the punch. By connecting the two momentums only at the point of impact, there is no longer a need to wind up the arm before the punch or keeping the arm rigid throughout the punch. Minimizing these habits will reduce how obvious the punch is to the opponent. Reach is the more visible purpose of the Koshi. As the hip of the rear leg is brought forward, the entire arm of the reverse hand is also brought forward. With a straight punch and the torso vertical, the furthest possible distance from head to fist is achieved. The hip is used in almost every basic technique in kata as well as in kumite. For this video, the technique we're going for will be Zenkutsu-dachi Chudan-tsuki, as shown in the previous video. So in this video, I'll be breaking apart the technique into major components, then break down those components into smaller pieces. In the previous video, I refer to these components as groups of pieces. The components are 1. The extending forward and the pulling back of the arm, that is the zuki or the punch, and 2. The rotation of the hips on Zenkutsu-dachi. Assuming the student has just learned to perform both components on its own proficiently. If the student were to be instructed to combine the two components, he or she will not be able to do so proficiently. The student needs to carry out specific training to combine them, and that's a new training altogether. When learning a new technique that is beyond the range of intuitive control of the practitioner, having to focus on more than one thing is too much for the practitioner. But before that, let's focus on the second component and break that down further into smaller pieces. Thank you for reaching to the end of this upload. Please like, share and subscribe or follow, and look for the link in the description box for part 2 of 2.